Yeah, I'm ready.
Central Harlem Senior Citizen Center. Oh, you recording while I'm talking?
I don't want to take the picture. I just wanted the recording, so
Yeah,
it
you just
can
need
be
the
any.
recording. Yeah.
Okay.
Central Harlem Senior Citizen Center was founded in 1971.
Mm-hmm.
In response to the Social Security Act of 1965.
Okay.
And in the early 70s, you know, New York was a different place.
Yes.
You had people getting older. You know, people kind of not being able to afford food.
Mm-hmm.
People getting their checks and the mailbox being broken into. I mean, there was such people were looking at older people as more viable, as you know, not like they're old and it's time to kind of just throw them out to the sea.
Right.
So you know, senior centers started popping up all over New York City in 1971. This one was founded, and it's always been. We have a contract with the Department for the Aging.
Okay.
And they give us a contract, and they contract us to serve the community. And
is it affiliate? This center affiliated with the Catholic Charities?
No, it's not.
Okay.
They're only our landlords.
Oh, okay.
They're our landlords.
Okay.
But they're good landlords.
I see.
They allow us to use the space, and we have a great partnership with them.
Yeah. And I see the relationship too with them upstairs. It's pretty good.
Deacon Martin is a good guy.
Yeah. So as far as your earlier years, your background, family, education.
But I'll tell you a little bit about my family.
Yes.
Right? My family is from Panama. Both of my parents came here in the early 50s. But we had an aunt that had been here early on.
Okay.
I was born in Brooklyn, born and raised in Brooklyn.
Okay.
But when I was 13, I went to Panama to go to high school.
Oh, okay.
And then I returned when I was 18, and then I went back for 2 years, and I've been here since. Okay. So I went to high school in Panama, which was different because most people, you know, tend to send their children here. Yeah, but my father sent me there.
That's right. And curb you.
Yeah, it was to curb me. Yeah. It was 1979, and you know, I wasn't doing anything really, but you know, I think that it was a different. New York City was very different. People don't realize how.
Because your dad was basically, he was Panamanian.
Both of my parents were born in Panama.
Okay.
And they both came here in the early 50s when they were pretty young. Both of them came here. My mother came here when she was 16. My father came here when he was like 20, 21.
Pickle break.
I got hot dogs.
I'll eat a hot dog. I eat a hot dog. Thank you. God bless you.
Thanks, Viv. Yeah, I know. Yes.
So my father decided to send me to Panama, and I went to this private Episcopalian school, and it changed my life.
Wow.
Because first of all, I don't know. I think it's so different going to school there. At least for me, for high school, you know, children really wanted to study.
Exactly.
The curriculum was, you know, amazing.
Did you already have a goal from high school of what you think your career would be?
I always enjoyed being around. First of all, I'm a very social person. I love to talk, and I love to be around people.
Okay.
And I always like to help people. I always find that I was always attracted to the underdog.
Okay.
You know, whatever that means.
Yes.
So anyone that was suffering or needing anything, I noticed from I was very young, even in school, I would always hang around with the person that wasn't the most popular.
Wow.
You know, and that's just the way I always was. And I remember we went on a trip to the countryside of Panama. We call it interior in Spanish.
Okay.
Interior. And we had a project, a high school project that we had to. I remember we had to teach the people there. We were teaching them about what was it? When you're pregnant, and just giving them speeches about
parenthood or emotional
not parenthood. When the baby's in vitro, like prenatal type classes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like how many years now? 30 years ago. I'm trying to remember, but I liked interacting with the people.
Okay.
And that's when I got the social service bug. I said, you know what? I think I want to be a social worker. I think this is what I want to do.
Okay.
It's about 18 then. And then I returned to New York City, and I had a boyfriend then. He was from Panama. We came together. We had plans. He was going to become a dentist. I was going to become whatever. And then I got pregnant.
Oh.
And then I decided to get married. So I got married when I was 19. I had my daughter by the time I was 20. And we decided to move back to Panama because we just felt that it would be easier. His family, I mean, they weren't millionaires, but they were well off.
Okay.
And, you know, we just felt it would have been easy for us in Panama. So we went back to Panama. But like I said, we were young. It really didn't work out. By the time I was 22, I was back here again with my daughter, Nelda. And my first job was at the New York Iron Infirmary.
Okay.
And I used to work in hospitals, reception. I used to answer the phones and so forth. And then I remember praying and asking God. I said, Lord, you know, God, I want to help people. I want to help people.
Wow.
I remember that prayer. I said, Father, I want to help people. And then I got this job at a place called Manhattan Plaza. It's still there. They're high-rise buildings. And I got this job at Manhattan Plaza. God bless you. At a place called Manhattan Plaza.
Yes.
And they had a social service agency within Manhattan Plaza called the Stay Well Center. But I was hired as an administrative person.
Oh, okay.
But then the seniors, there were people that had begun aging in. This is early 90s. And there was a licensed social worker. She was my supervisor. But the seniors loved me. They would come and sit with me and talk to me for hours.
Because you was a social person. Yeah.
And they loved me and they would bring food for me. And I said, I really enjoyed being around older people. I found them really interesting. I found them really wise. You know, I could talk to them for hours. And then she began to give me like kind of like case management work, kind of case assistance, where I started going out for fair hearings, and so I almost was like her assistant. And I said, you know, she said, you know, you really would be good at this. You should really think about going back to school.
So was you more like a mentor?
She was, Annie Levy. And you know, it's interesting we're doing this interview because I'm going to be honored on March 27th.
Wow.
The city council is honoring me and the Assemblyman Kiva at the Schomburg for my work in the community. And I've been thinking about her. I have to write a bio.
Yes.
So I've been thinking about all these things. I've been thinking about her and thinking. So it's interesting that we're doing this. But anyway,
great.
I went to Adelphi Social Work School. I started out with them for a year. And then Adelphi was expensive. And my mentor, the person that was mentoring me in school, she said, Josefina, why don't you think about doing all your liberal arts courses at the college in Rochelle?
Yeah.
And they had a campus then at the Theological Seminary. And this is like, I went back to school in I went back to school in the mid-90s. So, I went back to school when I was 27. My daughters I had two daughters by then. My daughter, Nelda was...
Two daughters then?
By then. Wow. Nelda, I think, was... Nayela was about maybe 4. They were little. And I started going to college in Rochelle for the liberal arts courses only. But I really liked it there. It was small.
It was small. It's so in college and university campus was so homely, welcome.
But I went to the theological. You know, they have campuses like for adults
all over.
And they had it at the Theological Seminary, and there was a lot of people like myself, a lot of my adult kind of like my age, professional. You're talking about people. Oh no, thank you, mommy. No, thank you.
No, sweet relish. No sweet.
You're talking about people back then. You could get away with only a high school diploma. Then you get sometimes. Then you know if you got into a good company. So a lot of these people, you're making very good salaries, but they saw the need that they needed a college degree. So that was the atmosphere. So I went back to schools, went to college in Rochelle, and then I liked it a lot. And I didn't go back to Adelphi. I ended up getting my bachelor's there, and my major was psychology. So then during that time, I stayed in hospitals. I started working. I left there. I got my first job at Columbia. I worked at Mount Sinai.
Columbia Presbyterian.
Yeah, I worked at what other hospital I worked at? Mount Sinai, Columbia.
Israel.
Methodist.
Oh, okay.
Methodist. So I started doing hospital administration.
Okay.
And again, having a yearn to really help people. Again, the patients always liked me.
Like you, yeah.
Because I was, I used to talk to them, help them. So I said, I want to go back to school. I don't know if social work, when I thought of social work, I thought of people that were drug dependent. I thought of foster care. I said, I don't want to do that. Then I found out there was a field called gerontology.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is 2000, because Jeremiah was born, I graduated in 2003, so I probably started school in 2001 maybe. And then now people hear about gerontology. Then it was very, it's been around, gerontology.
Yes.
The field has been around since the 60s. But it really, I think when I finished
that's when it was blooming now.
I think people were really talking about it more,
Yes.
And went to the College in Rochelle main campus and got my degree in gerontology. in 2003. I've been in this field for 12 years now.
Wow.
And I've worked at Norks. I've been a director of 2 Norks.
Okay.
I worked with the elderly homeless. I worked at running senior centers, and I've done
Yeah.
consulting work. So
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
How did you eat? How did you manage? You were playing 3 roles at that time: a student, a mother, a parent, and and work. Your job have to be. Was it? Did you find it challenging, or were you getting help from your husband or a family member? But I don't know
did.
if your mom was around.
yeah, I
because
did.
your
I
mom-
was I've been very blessed.
Mhm.
My mother was alive then. My grandma was alive then, and my husband has always been very supportive.
Okay.
So my mother really helped me raise my children. My mother retired. My mother used to work nights. She was a manager in a post office, so she would help come
was
home
a manager where?
at a post office.
Oh,
in the
okay.
postal
Here?
service.
Where you are?
Yeah, here. And she would work nights, so she would help me with the kids.
Kids in the day.
My grandmother did, and we all lived in the same house. We lived in a
Okay.
brownstone, 3-floor.
At the Bronx.
So we were all there
Brownstone.
together.
Yeah.
And so she would help me, and my husband would help. So I don't know how I would have done it without them.
Without them, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would have.
3 roles right there.
Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of support. I had a lot of support.
Wow.
So I mean, it was difficult in the sense that. I mean, I think you just have to be motivated.
Yeah.
Because you leave work, you're tired.
Yes.
And then to go to school, and then to be doing papers on weekends and
Oh yeah.
in the library.
Please, tell me about
And
that.
it wasn't easy. I mean, it really wasn't easy.
Not easy, and then you got to. Well, again, you said you had probably wasn't too bad with you financially because you have mom and grandma helping you
Yeah.
and hubby. But I mean, when no mom and no grandma, it's hard because if it was just you and your husband, two salary has to come in, and then you had.
Well,
3
we had
kids,
2 salaries because I worked and he worked.
and he worked.
But I think then financial aid was they're nicer. Like they were
Okay,
more.
then not now.
Then you got a lot of. I remember
yeah.
once I was getting this check. They were like, they told me I was at the college. They said, Safina, your name is on the list. I said, what list?
Oh,
They said, the list, you're getting a check. It was from, one of those, you get the Pell Grant or
oh,
something.
okay, yes, and then they get
And I was like, oh, check. That was around Christmas. I remember I got a check like for $3,000.
And that time they used to even give you a check for books.
Everything.
Books, everything. So you had money.
So I must say, I really didn't feel it. Like,
Yeah, then.
like
Now
to go
it's worse.
Now
Yeah.
there's really nothing today.
Nah,
It's such
no.
a difference now.
Because from what I just did a paper on the healthcare, and we're doing health policies, and with what's going on now, make it worse. Money is taking from education to help with Medicare, Medicaid. So it's worse now. That's where they're pulling the money from education, especially college. Now they leave the elementary school and getting whatever, but like college education, not really getting
Nothing.
it. That's why it's so hard.
Yeah.
You see. So we talk about your mentor and parents did influence you. They had a lot of influence on you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that, in my family, education was very important. I mean, it was like, that's what you
right.
did. It wasn't
That's
if
right.
you going.
Because you know what, too? They had that West Indian, Caribbean
Yes.
background, too. So
Yes.
that's,
I mean, you just didn't, they talked to you about college from you were growing up.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you just knew you were going to college. You knew you were going to get an
then you
education.
were going to have a
All of my
profession.
cousins,
That's what they wanted.
all of my cousins graduated from school. All of us are professionals, thank God. We have a lawyer or 2. We don't have any doctors. Nayela,
Yeah.
hopefully my daughter will be the doctor.
Doctor, okay.
But we have a judge. I mean, we just have, we just did what we had to
What
do.
to
It
do.
wasn't
Exactly.
that's what you did. You wasn't
That's
like,
what you did. That was
you
what
know?
the family was about. Your children growing up, college, get them to be a profession. Because
Yeah.
I always say my mama was a dressmaker. My dad was one of the best tailor. Only makes suits. Any wedding suits was my dad making it. And now we're saying all our parents wanted for us was to be some kind of profession. Those jobs now, being a tailor, making all that money and designing, oh, you're a millionaire. And we
Millionaire.
said, why we didn't even take, because our parents were so silly then.
Yeah.
They want us to be that when we could have just been that, learned that trade from them.
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
would be a millionaire.
It's true.
So, how about your first leadership role? Tell me
My
about
first
that.
leadership
Yes.
role was, I would say, when I worked at Methodist.
Uh-huh.
It was administrative, but I remember it was the first time that, you know, like I had kind of clerical staff under me.
Okay, yes.
So that was kind of like my first taste of a little bit of management. But really, my leadership roles came when I graduated from school. You know, when I got my graduate degree.
When you get your graduate.
That's right. And that's when I got my first. Let me see. No, I think my first job as a director is when I was working in Bay Ridge as running a North. That was my first director, really being a director. You know,
Was it challenging, that first one? How, as far as like, you know, dealing with conflicts, decision makings, and you know.
I think it always is, but I think some people are natural leaders.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
And I think I'm a natural leader.
From what you said there to me before, because being as a young child, you were doing leadership roles, even just going to this camp place or whatever. Yeah.
But I've never been a follower.
That's what I wanted to ask that question. Were you a follower or a leader?
Never. I was always a leader. I always had a mind of my own. And you couldn't sway me any way growing,
no,
you know, never was a follower. Never had that type of personality, always a leader. And, you know, I think that I'm just a natural leader. I think that I'm good at it. I think God gave me that gift, and I think I'm really good at it. I think that's why and I've gotten better over the years.
Because you evolve with it. Yes.
You learn by your mistakes, you know, and I still make mistakes.
Yes.
I still do.
Any good leader, you know, will still
I still do. But I think that, you know, with time, you know, experience, you learn, you're dealing with different personalities.
And different times, too.
Different times.
Yes.
Yes, different times. Yes, that's a good point. It's just different, you know, but I think my leadership style is not authoritarian. It's definitely not authoritarian.
No, I don't see authoritarian.
Yeah, I like, you know.
No, I don't see that. And it's not, you're more of the democratic, transformational leader. Yeah. You know, you let people, you get ideas from what I see, and you get
always, and that's what Obama. I heard Obama is like that. I heard Obama a lot of times he goes into meetings. He
was on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
Yeah, he's kind of made up his mind what he's going to do, but he always likes to hear. And I'm very open to hearing. I respect. I think respect is very important.
Oh yeah,
you gotta respect yourself.
Number one.
Yeah, because you're not an island unto yourself. You're a team. But every team needs a leader. Right?
I have to. Or else everything will go chaotic.
Because if I didn't have Deborah, I couldn't do what I do. Chris wasn't here. Everybody, we're the body, and one is the arm, the ear. You can't act like, you know, like you're this person.
Even Fred, I look how you are. He belongs to the team too, because
everybody here belongs to the team. Because when we're missing one person, we feel it. Because everybody has what they're supposed to do. And when we come together, we're strong. Well, yeah. So you have to respect your staff. You got to respect them and appreciate what they do. And
appreciate them and motivate them.
And motivate them. And I think what motivates them is that you respect them. People want to be respected, know that what they do is important. Tell people that they're doing a good job. You know what I mean? And, you know, just being honest with people.
Yes,
you know, I think the
honesty, that's another thing, and trusting. And they could trust you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that they do.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I don't see anything other than that here, because I see nobody, you know, I'm in the background there with them, and you know, if people have growls, you'll hear it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you hear it, and nothing like that, you know, I've heard.
Yeah, we have a pretty good, you know, but overall, we're a good team.
Yeah,
we're a good team here. We get along, you know. We have our little bit, but nothing out of this way. We all try to work together for the good of the center.
Okay. I'll probably ask you, have there been any challenging situation here that you had to? Is there any that you can bring to me that, you know, any that stand out? And how did
you? When I first came here, you know, it was very hard because the center, they wanted to close these centers. It's a long story, but I kind of came in the eye of the storm. So, you know, I started a job where I just kind of like was pushed right out there.
Okay.
And I had to deal with a lot of that, you know. And then also, you know, my predecessor was here 20 years. She was here for 20 years. She was older.
Older, yeah.
She was from Harlem. You know.
So the community already bond with that person.
You know, I was a younger woman. People really didn't know me. Because, you know, people here are all kind of connected.
Oh, my God. So you had to set your style now.
You know, yes. And it was a lot, you know, they kind of fought against it. And some people still, they've gotten accustomed to me.
Got accustomed to 2 years and a half. Okay.
But when I first came, it was pretty hard, you know. But I mean, that's again a leader. Like you have to have a vision.
Yeah.
You got to believe in that vision.
Yes.
you know, and you got to stick to it.
And
then
make
after
that
a
vision
while,
clear for them.
and after a while, people will understand. So they've kind of fallen in place.
Okay.
Oh, you know, they've kind of fallen in place. They kind of get what I want to do. But you know, people do not like change.
No, of course not.
And I don't care even if it's
Especially
good.
if it-
They don't like change.
No,
I
no.
didn't change everything here. A lot of things are still the same.
Yeah.
But I added
Yeah,
some things. I
yes.
changed things
And
around.
maybe have a little different method.
Oh
of
yeah,
how you do
you know, and
things,
everybody
yeah.
has their own way of it. But I think they've gotten accustomed to me now.
Yeah.
But that was challenging. That was
Okay,
challenging.
wow.
That was. It wasn't easy.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
Mhm. That's true. When a new person comes in, that's always it is. Yeah, that's cool. What else I want you to ask you? Okay, basically, wow, you good. You good to it.
I like to
You
chat.
just feel, yes, you got that challenge for you. You good. As far as this I have here, I wrote this question and then. You go about it. Okay, as far as hiring, how do you go about it? Like, what do you look for do you have your own unique way? If you should, like, okay, say for instance now you have to fill this new assistant directors,
Program director, yeah.
right? Yeah, assistant program director. So do
With
you,
me, and you know, I don't know if this is scientifically correct, but me, it's my gut. I have to have a gut feeling about someone. You know, of course, I get your resume. You come in, and you talk, but there's a gut feeling that I get.
okay,
And you know, you always want to look at, if you bring this person on, how they're going to fit into the group, how they'll fit in, and just certain things that I look for. You know, I mean, I did interview someone for the position, and the young lady didn't do research on the center. She didn't know anything about the center, and that was a no-no for me.
Yeah, exactly,
You know?
exactly.
Smart girl and whatever, but that kind of, you know. But for me, it's always a gut. I get like a gut feeling. Sometimes I know right off the bat. I see someone's resume, they come in, I know that I'm gonna
And
hire
you could
them.
say, oh, okay.
I can have that, and it's never ever
Go work
fails
against
me.
you. Yeah.
Very rare it fails me.
Mm,
I kind of know. I can't. It's my own thing,
okay.
you know. But you know, I do. You know, I look at the people's resumes. I look at the work they've done. The resumes, but I really want to chat with you. And
Okay,
and my
good.
interview
You
style
want to
is
see
not.
personality too,
Yeah, I
because
wanna
that
see,
has a lot to
I
do
want to
with.
know. I want to talk. Why do you want to come here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, really, like why? What can you bring? What do you think you can bring to the table? What have you done? You know, and I just want to know, like, you know, because I mean, I think that people understand that when you interview for a position, it's also you interviewing to see if you want to be part of this culture.
There you go. Very much
You know,
so.
it's not like
yes,
Will
yes.
this be a place where you'll be happy? And I know a lot of times people are desperate for
Exactly.
a job,
Wow.
but no, you know,
But that
you may
that
get the
won't
job and
make
then
it.
you're not happy.
That's right.
So,
You're
you
not
know,
happy, and the people you go to
So
work with are
I'm
not
very
happy. So
clear,
it
you know, about what I'm gonna expect you to do. I don't
Mm-hmm.
sugarcoat it. I'll tell
No.
them, you know, this is what it's like. Do you think this is an environment you want to be in?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and maybe I'll tell them about, you know, I tell them the seniors. People think, oh, seniors, oh, cookies, oh, grandma, senior. No.
Yeah, no, that's not
Seniors
just
are
what
people.
it is. And these are smart seniors you have here.
Yeah, they're
These
people.
are-
They're like anyone else.
Yeah. Mhm.
Seniors, they just got older. You know, they have their own prejudices. They have
Yes.
their own ways. They have their, you know, people just get older. You're dealing with the public.
That's right.
We happen to deal with people that are older, but we're still dealing with the public. So you're dealing with all kind of personalities,
Exactly.
all kind of backgrounds.
Exactly.
And it's
Mhm.
and can you work with, you know, can you do that? Not
Can you
everyone
do
is
that?
good
Yeah,
to do
that-
those things.
yeah,
You
that-
have to have a hard exterior
Yeah.
because they can be pretty
Oh,
tough.
no, they can be
When
pretty
you
tough.
work
I'm
with the
telling
public,
you, I've seen that
They can
before.
be tough, and
Yeah.
you know, and can you do this?
Handle
So,
that, yeah. Oh my God, yeah, that's good. Yeah. All right. I mean, you know, what advice would you think you'd wanna give me, seeing that I'm graduating, I'm going out, or your preceptors, not me alone, you have other preceptors. You're precepting, you are your preceptees.
Yeah,
You are preceptor for other people too, from
Yeah.
other schools.
yeah.
You know, as we leave, you know, what advice, what is there anything you'd want to tell us as we're going out there to maybe start our, like I said, I've done some leadership work, but like you said, like you did your first one with Craig and whatever, as I go into like a more, because after school, I think somebody is holding a managerial position job for me, a unit manager.
Mhm.
So what advice would you
Well, be
wanna
kind. Well, first of all, be kind.
Mm.
Okay, you need to be kind. You need to listen to people.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You need to care.
Mm-hmm.
Really care about people.
Definitely.
Don't do unto others what you don't want anyone to do unto you.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be sensitive to people.
Mm-hmm.
You need to give people chances. If a person is not, if there's a situation, you work with the person to get them to a certain level. You work with them. You need to be patient with people.
Yeah.
And then you also need to recognize when the person is not the right fit for the position either.
Exactly.
That, maybe it's not working out. It's not the right fit. You need to recognize that too. Because you can do everything, but they just may not ever be able to get to that level, or probably they're just not good for the job.
Exactly.
So
how do you tell somebody?
You tell them.
You just be direct and
Yeah,
assertive.
you tell them they're everyone has their strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
And you tell them, you say, listen, this is what, for instance, this is your strength and these are your weaknesses. And when you do that, let's say when you do evaluation, you tell people their weakness, but then you help them. Like, let's say the person always forgets appointments.
Okay.
So you get, you suggest Outlook, or you suggest some kind of something. But if they still don't, maybe they have problems with organization. Everybody, and maybe the job, that's important for that job. Maybe some jobs it's not. But for certain jobs, maybe you really need to be organized. So if that's your weak point, and we put some things in place to help you, and you're still not, well then maybe you're in the wrong.
You're in the wrong field.
You're in the wrong field.
Yes.
So you gotta be.
This place is not.
No. So you gotta be realistic with. You gotta be realistic with people, and that's after you try to work with them. And then when you see that you work with them and it's not, then well.
Just about try everything.
I'm big on passion. I want people. That they come to work because they enjoy what they're doing. Because believe me, you will know when I don't want to be here anymore, because the passion is gone. When my passion is gone for a place, I gotta go.
Okay.
I have everything I do is from here. I don't do nothing mediocre. I just come. I'm getting a check. No. I've never. Even when I was a receptionist, I was a great receptionist. Answer the phone. Everything I do, I don't do it half.
Okay.
You do things
full
properly.
On,
You do it good. You do it full on. And that's big for me.
Yeah.
With people, just don't do things any kind of way. And no. We do things with passion.
I know I've already answered it, but I can answer this now. Directly, what's the director's? Well, what comes under the executive director?
Oh God, I have 3 pages for you. I oversee the entire operation.
Okay.
So it's the staffing, the hiring.
Yes.
I sign all the checks. I'm responsible for all the fiscal, everything. I'm responsible for everything, the running of the center. Yeah, that's the responsibility of the ED. I work closely with the board.
Charity work, they're getting, all about
I do fundraising.
Exactly.
Do a lot of fundraising. I work closely with the board of directors to develop different things, So I'm just really. I oversee everything.
Yes. Yeah. That's a manager, the authority to the resources. You work with these are all the resources you tell me about, for the facility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then whoever your executive director is will be your leader under you to be.
She's a program director.
Okay.
She's a program director, so she's like second in command. Kind of like. Her role is going to probably kind of develop the center more.
Exactly.
And we're going to, work on some grant writing and so forth. So, kind of like the right-hand person.
Yeah.
Second in command. She wouldn't sign checks or anything. She doesn't have to do that.
No.
But, kind of like second in command, just kind of making sure, tying everything together, making sure the place runs efficiently.
Does this sort of see, because when Billy was here, he was, I think some days he was going to another facility.
He only used to go there to drop off meals. That's
okay. Doesn't have no affiliation with you that was a sister place to
It's
here.
a drop-off center.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was, a drop-off center.
Oh, okay.
And he used to just drop off the meals and so forth.
I think then, I think I got just about, oh my God, you were good. You can run through everything. You're gonna do good with your you said you're gonna be there, you're gonna be honored with your,
yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. You're a good speaker.
Oh, thank you.
Straight on. Yeah.
Thanks, Yvonne.
Straight on. And thanks so much. Thanks
You're
for
welcome.
this is good. She's gonna love this.
She
I
is?
think this is. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You said. Oh yeah.
She's not gonna hear the recording though. You're gonna type
No,
it up.
you know, it's so good that I would want her to listen to that. You see, because I'm gonna do the script from this, right? Well, I'll make the script as good as because this was just done and professional. What you just did,
All right.
as far as I see.
All
Thanks
right.
so much.
I hope you get an A.
I hope so. Let me see.